There was a question tonight about Syria and Syria's recent attack, Israel's recent attack in Syria. You didn't get to weigh in on that question about whether or not we would support Israel in their attack if Israel suspected that Syria was developing nuclear weapons.
I'll tell you what. If Israel were to move, I'm president of the United States, and they talk about invading another country again, I'll put a stop to it, period. I'm going to bring peace to the Middle East, and we're going to have a Palestinian state, and we're going to have a free Israel state, and I will get it done. And none of this stuff, oh, will we support Israel? We need a leader in this country that can bring about peace, and we don't have that leader, and we haven't had one for 50 years.
Is Iran a threat to Israel?
Of course it's not a threat to Israel, because you got some president who's shooting his mouth off. He puts his mouth in gear before his brain. What about, we had Khatami, who was the president at 9/11. They helped us. They helped us defeat the Taliban in Afghanistan. And what they got as a result of that was George Bush calling him an axis of evil. Khatami lost the election, and Ahmadinejad won. We put Ahmadinejad in power in Iran. And he's not a very powerful person. He's got less power than what John Gardner characterized as a bucket of spit as vice president.
But the Iranians are sponsoring Hezbollah. They are carrying...
They're what?
They are sponsoring Hezbollah in Lebanon.
And what's wrong with sponsoring Hezbollah? There are people that got protest.
The terrorists?
Hamas?
No?
Oh, wait. Oh, terrorists. Talk to me about terrorists. Are insurgents terrorists?
Aren't they?
Of course they're not. They want their country back, and they're fighting for it. Were the American revolutionaries at Concord and Lexington, were they terrorists?
But have you
of course they weren't. They were fighting for what they believed in, their country. And so these people want their country back. Here, 80% of the people in Iraq want the United States to leave. We hear from our leadership, the generals and the president, saying, we got to stay there to protect those people. Are these people so ignorant? Are they so ignorant that they don't know what they need?
Is it still possible to have a two-state solution, Israel and Palestine?
Oh, yes, it is.
And what would those borders be? I mean, I think one of the reasons that Israel's neighbors are wary of Israel is because Israel doesn't have a border. It still doesn't have a border, and they're wary of that encroachment.
I don't know if you're familiar with now King Abdullah, who was Crown Prince Abdullah, and he said that not only if we got a 67 border solution, and that's possible. That's not rocket science. We could tweak it because the Israelis can't have the right of return. It would change their country. But also, we would tweak it for Jerusalem. Let the Israelis keep that as their capital. Let the Palestinians have it as their capital. And let every religious nation on earth that wants to have the capital in Jerusalem, let them have that. That is a solution. Now, what Abdullah said, which fell on deaf ears in Israel and everywhere else, was very simply that if we do that, he will use his offices, which are considerable, to go around the Islamic world and not only get to recognize Israel and its right to exist, but they would trade with Israel. Mm-hmm. Now that's a solution, and it got nowhere in Israel.
That's really realistic, considering the statement that so many people in some Muslim countries have made concerning the fate of Israel, driving them into the sea, those kinds of things. That they, when you say that, that's not like a good neighbor policy of like, can I borrow a cup of sugar? So.
Well, wait a second. Here, there's an old saying: for evil to prevail, all you need is good people to do nothing. All you need for a stabilized world society is for politics as usual, violence as usual. And you know who the chief beneficiary of my approach would be? The people of Israel. They only have to lose once and they're done. And enough people, what I would do with the solution I'm advocating is the deal would be made in a cocoon of freedom so that they're not destabilized by the crazies on both sides of the ledger. And then the deal would be voted on by the people of Israel. I have no truck with the present leadership of Israel. Sharon, Netanyahu, these are warmongers. They've proved it overwhelmingly. There are a lot of people in Israel that want peace and are prepared to trade land for peace. There's an organization in the United States. It's called Americans for Peace. It's a Jewish organization. And that's the group I'm aligning myself with, is the Jews who want peace, who really want to go at it, and not those that want to wage an interminable war killing, mutilating. Here, there's 500 soldiers in Israel today that said they will not serve in Gaza and will not serve in the West Bank. They'll fight to the death to defend their country, but they won't be policemen. They won't go in and intimidate and humiliate and cause great pain. There's a full-page ad in the New York Times not too long ago. It said Jews donating money to pay for the homes of Palestinians who have been bulldozed by the Israeli government. The Jewish community, the peace community is coming alive. And for people to say, oh, there is no hope, there is hope. All you got to do is want to get rid of violence and retaliation.